So I had this dream where the young people, the youth from the church, and maybe others, we started a prayer room, and they grew bigger than the church. They grew bigger than the church and faster than the church. And so the church let them have the whole building. And then the church built this huge, and I keep having this weird dream about a tent. It's not a tent. It was like a big one of those inflatable tent buildings, the rounded white dome kind of things. And they put one of those up. I think it was in the front yard of the church, which is weird. And that's where the church met. And the young people became this movement. And the prayer cover was so powerful. But it was the prayer we needed. We've been needing it. And the young people got it. They started a prayer room. Just like we've done before, like the prayer house in Kensington. And the real focus, of course, with what I do is the presence of God and worshiping Him. Not on some of the stuff that other folks do. I love IHOP and others, but it's not my focus. Since college, I've been praying in prayer closets, and my first prayer closet, the presence of God came so strong in that people would have encounters with God from being in my closet, whether they believed in Him or not. So when I went towards starting the prayer room, it went off of that thinking, not off of the idea that I would start 24/7 worship that doesn't stop with talking and all kinds of weird stuff. Which is good. I mean, some of that stuff is good. It's based on David's setup for the temple, but this is more like a place where people can encounter God. So where the prayer rooms today are more based on Solomon's temple, my heart is to build a place that's more like David's tent and the tent of meeting, where people can come and encounter God, and anybody can walk by and see His presence and encounter Him. It's about His presence, not about the worship that's going on in there. Like Solomon focused on worship, but he's far away from God. David didn't get the big building and ornate stuff and that kind of worship fully established, but he did have the presence, and he was anointed and carried His presence all his life, even though he made bad decisions. And so I see our culture and the young generation coming up. They're a lot like David. Make a lot of mistakes, a lot of messed up stuff, a lot of brokenness. But God can still use them. And I really feel like that they're going to move a movement. I can't get away from the idea it's coming. I've been saying revival's coming. That got implanted in my soul at CHP. It's not if, it's when. And now it's like I see this idea that the young people take over the church. It's awesome. So let's let them. Anyway, praying into this, y'all pray with me. So after I just recorded that thing about my dream, the topic for today is taking the initiative against daydreaming. It says daydreaming about something. This is in Oswald Chambers. Daydreaming about something in order to do it properly is right, but daydreaming about it when we should be doing it is wrong. In this passage, after having said these wonderful things to His disciples, we might have expected our Lord to tell them to go away and meditate over them all, but Jesus never allowed them idle daydreaming. When our purpose is to seek God and discover His will for us, daydreaming is right and acceptable. But when our inclination is to spend time daydreaming over what we have already been told to do, it is unacceptable, and God's blessing is never on it. God will take the initiative against this kind of daydreaming by prodding us into action. His instructions to us will be along the lines of this: don't sit or stand there, just go. If we're quietly waiting before God after He has said to us, come aside by yourselves, then that is meditation before Him to seek His will. Mark 6:31. Beware, however, of giving in to mere daydreaming. Once God has spoken, allow Him to be the source of all your dreams, joys, and delights, and be careful to go and obey what He has said. If you're in love with someone, don't just sit there and daydream about that person all the time. You go and do something for them. That is what Jesus Christ expects us to do. Daydreaming after God has spoken is an indication that we do not trust Him. If you've ever heard Alan Smith talk about love and trust, hello, it fits there. Love equals trust. So when you love someone, you trust them. And anyway, back to the daydreaming thing and dreaming. He says, find all your dreams in God. And then when he gives you the dream and he says what to do, the only right slowing down is meditating before him to listen for his next will. It's not appropriate to sit once he's told you what to do. So right now I find myself in a meditating place. And it's weird that that was today's devotional from Oswald Chambers after having the dream. So something is definitely building. I need to rest, quiet all the voices from craziness, and hear him.